Hello, everyone, and ooh, my mic's not in the right position. Let me bring that a little closer. All right, gonna blow your ears out here a little bit. But now the mic is closer to my mouth, and you can hear all my squeaks and all my other things. And you can hear my chair squeak, too. Yeah, it needs some WD-40. Honestly, I have like 8 cans. It would take me all of like 2 minutes to just go to the garage, because I live in like a 900 square foot house. Literally, it would take me less than 2 minutes to go to my garage, grab a can, come back and go, psst, boom. It'd be instantly quiet. And especially since it's not like outside in the elements or anything, like that one spray would lubricate it for the rest of its life. But instead, I just sit here, and every time I go to contemplate something, it's just interesting. Tell me more. Yeah, dude, my chair is almost as rickety as that Forester we were just talking about.
Dude, that thing is so fucking.
We were just like, so we got to
fucking fucked.
We managed to sleuth together that it was a Subaru, because there's no visible badging, and genuinely I didn't recognize the seats. Like, the seats did not scream anything to me, and the rear seats were gone. But it's this Forester, and literally it's held together with 2 blocks of wood and a ratchet strap to keep like one of the corners from falling off the car. Basically, it was just disturbingly rotted away, and apparently the guy drives it. I'm always like, it was just like Cody's like first car was like a truck that the bed was held together with ratchet straps, because like if he didn't have it ratchet strapped together, the sides of the bed flexed and the tailgate would fall off. Like that
nice.
That is literally
what yeah, I've seen that. Yeah. But that's another one for our Facebook group called Bro Just Throw the Car Away.
Yeah, Bro Just Throw the Car Away. Honestly, we should make it. We should make it and then make other people who are enthusiastic admins, so we don't have to do work to enjoy the fact that it exists.
Exactly.
Because moderating Facebook groups is the worst. Straight up.
That's because Facebook is a toilet. So
hey, no, okay. Facebook is a toilet, and that toilets are very nice, and they're very useful tools to have in your life, but they are what you do to them. If all you do is shit on the rim and smear it around and all the other stuff, then of course, yeah, it's gonna look and smell terrible. But if you always put the shit in the toilet and then flush it away when you're done, boom, it's a nice place. Could even be a seat. You can hang out there, read a book, play Xbox. You got a colonoscopy appointment coming up. You set up your entertainment center in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Play Xbox on the toilet. See, it's a nice place. It's a nice place. Okay, so no joke, because this 100% has to do with car stuff. Back when I was in high school, and obviously I lived with my parents when I was in high school. Not everybody, most people. And I genuinely thought, man, it would be so cool to set up like a multi HDMI output so that like you could have all of the TVs in the house connected to one Xbox, and then you could just like pause the game, take the controller with you, and then go play games while you take a shit. Right where you left off. Seamless. And I thought that was just the coolest idea, because this is back when I used to game like 6 hours a day, like minimum. That was my school night. I got home at 3-ish something. Yeah. No, I had an after school activity for every single day of the week, so it was closer to 4:30-ish. Get home at like 4:30-ish, plop down, play Xbox, eat dinner by myself because my mom gave up on trying to force me to do the whole family dinner thing. Just grab my food, shuffle back upstairs, shovel it into my mouth, controller in one hand, chicken tendies in the other hand, just non-stop all high school. It was unhealthy. Very unhealthy. That being said... My name is Juan Johnson, or Afro, as many people call me. Amateur race car driver / budding race car builder / general guy that does way too many things and wastes too much money doing things I could let other people do for way cheaper. And I'm joined here today by my fellow compatriot in liking cool car things and motorsportsy things. And
what's up?
Yeah, I don't know, Hunter. What do you want to say your claim to fame is today?
Crown Vic owner.
Boom! You just got one. Why don't you tell us about your little Crown Vic? Because we only have like 10 topics, and 3 of them are like worthless, like 10-second topics. So we've got all sorts of tangent time today, and we'll still only be an hour long.
Yeah. So I decided, or well, not decided. I got a good deal on a Crown Vic that I just couldn't say no to. And I then realized that these cars are either getting rarer or more expensive.
Both.
And both, yeah.
Because when you think about the used market was taxi cabs. So it's like as soon as they left
taxi cabs and police auctions.
Yeah, like genuinely most of these ended up in like redneck trashy people's hands or just taxi cabs.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Like, I think it was, I if I remember right, the numbers is like 90% of all Crown Victoria sales were fleet and police. So I have a 2010 LX, which is the luxury model for the Crown Vic. Rear air ride. It has all the automatic climate control, and to be honest, that's really quite it. It's a giant couch on wheels. And yeah, I just I saw it and I was like, I can't turn it down. I've always wanted a Crown Vic. I guess it's time.
By the way, what color is yours?
It's like a silverish kind of color.
Silverish kind of color?
Yeah, like a silverish beige, I guess. I don't know.
Found it. It is in fact a silverish beige. For any of you guys who are watching this on YouTube, this is the silverish beige I'm pretty sure that he's talking about.
Yeah.
Do you have 5-spoke wheels?
Yeah, I do. I don't, and I hate them. That's the one part I hate about the car is the wheels. I think they're the worst wheels on that car I've ever seen. Like, I do think all Crown Victoria should have just been Steelies with chrome center caps and beauty rings, regardless if it was a police interceptor or not.
I will say it looks like there was a trim of it that got these like little 8 spokies. Oh no, more than 8 spokies, 10 spokies. These 10 spokies don't look bad.
I think that was Marauder, or maybe the LX Sport.
The Ford got it. I don't know what trim this was, but these little 10 spokies, they're not too bad. But yeah, aside from that, the 5 spokies, honestly, it looks like you like wanted to pimp your ride, but then you ran out of money for the chrome.
Yeah, I hate that's honestly all I want to do is I just want to get the Steelies with the chrome center caps and fucking beauty rings. And I think that's the only wheels I want on the car. And then yeah, I wanted to make something I could cruise in. I could go down the street and something I could take to a drag strip and run some passes, and something I could take to the track and make some laps. And with the right suspension set up, I feel like I have something that can do that pretty well.
Can I just say, I love the fact that the interior is so 90s.
Oh yeah, dude, it's totally 90s Ford.
Like completely 90s Ford, like, and not in a bad way. Like, I mean, it's 90s. What do you expect? It's a car that was made in the 90s and perpetuated until somebody said, "Okay, guys, we should stop. We should stop."
Well, I'm pretty sure it was the same car from like 90.
I'm pretty sure it was. It's like from like 90,
92. 92. It got a big update in I believe 96 or 97, and it pretty much stayed the same car until like 2011.
I will say that, like, some of the features and stuff got updated. I think the steering wheel changed and a few other things. Like, so if you get
got little
like
refreshes here and there.
Yeah, if you get like a 2012, which is the last year of the Vic, right? 2012 was the last year.
2011, last one roll off the line.
2011, yeah. So, So they've got like a CD player instead of a tape deck and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But
mine's got a CD player. You
overall,
know, you,
yeah. What do I
you
know?
know,
What do I know? What do
uh,
I know, Hunter? Tell me what I know.
uh, I think whoever decided to put Bluetooth and or aux ports in cars deserves a Nobel Peace Prize.
Oh yeah, dude. That single-handedly brought peace to a lot of people's lives. Because let's face it, as nostalgic as some people are about the days of radio, radio sucks. Because I want to listen to like one out of every 6 songs. The rest of the time, it's like you're just sort of getting by.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Like mine's just been on the classic rock station, and I was kind of like, ugh.
That's my life with my S2000 because I still haven't dropped the $200. You can do it for cheaper than $200. You can pay. I know. I want to get a specific one. It's like if I'm gonna do it, I want to do it the right way. Because cheap, I have a cheap head unit in the WRX, and it shows how cheap it is. Like it has flaws. It has flaws. It works, but flaws.
Yeah.
So one of these days I will do it, but right now it's like, $200 for that, or $200 for a catch can, or any other thing that actually keeps the car alive / functional. I got a whole little story for that. I guess I feel bad interrupting your story, Hunter, but I know I'm going to forget this if I don't say it now. Did I tell you about my fun little scare at my last track day?
No, did you poopy pants?
A little bit, dude. Like I'll if I'm not a lazy butthole, I might even put in like a quick little Giphy poo or a little snippet of what we're talking about later. Not promising
Okay.
anything. Not promising anything to you guys because I might just go F it. I gotta put this podcast out. But we'll say it'll be up in this I can't point. I can't direct my hands right.
Oh, you know what tonight is? I'm sorry.
What?
You know what tonight is? I forgot to mention this.
The
It's a
debate?
presidential debate. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I don't want to watch it.
I want to watch that train wreck. But anyway, keep going. Sorry.
All right. So anyway, I'll put it up in this region somewhere. But basically, during the very first session of the day, I was hounding on it. Did 2 or 3 laps, no problems. And then once I started getting up to speed, then I was going down the main straight. During like the first 3 or 4 laps, I had been like dogging this 911. Like he was beating me in the straights because no dirt, it's a 360 something horsepower flat 6 versus my little 240 horsepower 4 popper. And so like in the straights he would pull away, but then like as soon as we got to the corners, like every lap I was getting more and more on his ass. And then finally I passed him, because it's a track day, you have to get point buys and stuff, so you have to earn it basically. So so then I was going down the front straight. And then I was like, ooh, he's catching me in the straight. So you know what? I'm going to point him by because I didn't know if he wanted to go by or not. But he realized that, he was like, you know what? He's going to pull away 3 or 4 car lengths away as soon as we hit the corners. So he actually like let up too. He didn't go for the pass. So I look back in my rearview mirror and I'm like, oh, okay, he's letting off. And as soon as those words trailed out of my brain, giant ass smoke cloud shoots out the back of my car. Like, straight up looks like I slammed on the brakes with no ABS and locked up the tires because it was just... So, right now, running theory is it's a combination of one of 2 things. One, it is my bad radiator cap that leaks and likes to randomly burp coolant, which is, I'm more than certain what actually happened, is just that, I'm doing 100 miles per hour down the main straight, and then I let off suddenly... And basically not the letting off, but basically the cap was just going to burp whenever it wanted to burp. And so it burped, and then because of the fact the car's going 100 miles an hour, all the smoke went under the car and came out the back of the car and basically just made it look really, really bad. Or theory number 2, which I doubt because of how much smoke there was, because no joke, I talked to, because I'm friends with a lot of the corner workers and stuff, because we all volunteer at all sorts of stuff. And I talked to the guy at start finish, and he literally said, "Yeah, I was about to have you black flag. Like if you were still smoking, coming around turn 1, we would have black flagged you. That's how bad it looked." But literally, it was like In the front straight, I left a smoke screen that was so long, 4 different people asked me if my car blew up because they saw it from behind me. To around corner 1, car was perfectly fine. I was driving it along, gave it a few blips of the throttle, nothing was going on. It was like, wow, this is so weird. So long story short is it's either that the radiator cap hiccuped, which it hadn't done at any track events I had been to this year. Like, flat out, it's never done it before, only at this event, which, because of the way the track is set up, it can change all that stuff. Or the other thing is that S2000s notoriously get a lot of oil blow. Basically, the oil in the windage tray moves around, and it's not uncommon for the PCV valve to suck up a shit ton of oil from the cylinder head, or specifically in the valve train area, and then to burn it all as soon as you let off throttle or get on throttle really, really hard. Basically, because the dramatic change in pressure from when you either close the throttle all the way or open the throttle all the way can cause oil to get sucked into the PCV, which then dumps it into the intake, and then it goes into your intake and then burns out the back. So anyway, long story short, that was fun. But oil catch cans are actually very much in my to-do list now, because I did find oil in some of my spark plug tubes, which means I'm probably gonna have to replace a gasket, even though they're brand new. So I think that they just didn't seat one of them right. But it's just a bunch of different little things. So car's still happy, just randomly spat smoke for no reason, and then it didn't do it the rest of the day. Fun little scare story though, because I thought I blew up my car. All right, back to your Crown Vic.
Yeah, I mean that's how you scare the shit out of yourself, right? Like
giant smoke cloud that makes everybody go away from you.
Go like, oh, what the fuck. But no, yeah, I mean, I don't really have anything else. I just, like I said, I just want to build something fun that, like, I could take on a road trip, run some passes at a drag strip.
You can road trip the shit out of this thing.
You can road trip the shit out of that motherfucker.
Is that a 4-speed auto?
Yeah.
How's it pedal around? I've never actually had the pleasure of driving one.
Oh, dude, it's great. I think the gearing in it's like a 283 or 2 something. Like, it's terrible. So one of the things I do want to do is get a limited slip on it, and then a 373 gears at the same time. And so, no more one wheel peels, and it handles better that way. Like, the funny thing is, the more I read, it's like people are like, you change the car a lot in a good way if you just settle out the back end of the car with the right equipment. So, yeah.
I don't doubt it. I do not doubt it whatsoever.
So I'm excited. It's like I said, I told you, now that we got to do, whenever the apocalypse ends, we can do Hot Rod Drag Week.
Yeah, like I said,
I think it would just be fun just to do it.
Hopefully by the time you're ready to go full spice and put a 5-speed in there, I'll be...
That's on the list.
Yeah, I'll be in a position where I can just be like, yeet, and drive up there, and then we'll be cool YouTubers about it and be like, I'm up here, hey guys, I'm up here in Canada. Be sure to smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, smash it. Anyway,
smash on that button. Call it a little bitch.
We're gonna chop up my friend's Ford, yeah. But it would be fun. I've got all the tools you need to chop up your Vic.
Yeah, I just got to figure out what engine I want to keep in it.
Ooh, you're getting a Facebook call.
I know, and I rejected it.
But yeah, so let's see. So is your steering wheel this like where it's like super open-ended up top? It's like a 2-spoke?
Yeah, it's just a 2-spoke wheel.
It's kind of floaty. Like, I like it. It's kind of weird. Again, for those of you guys who are on Facebook, or not on Facebook, God, on YouTube, boom, that's the wheel we're talking about. But yeah, so either way though, congrats again on the new whip. Now you actually have something. Because I forget, were you just driving the wife's car all this time, or did you guys have another? I can't remember.
That's all I have.
Yeah, so you were just the 1-car family.
Yeah, well, yeah, because the car's in America.
Mm-hmm. You're a 1-car Canadian family. Your car is a cold-blooded American. Like, my daddy left me to go to Canada, so now I just sit in the garage Nobody drives me. I'm cold a lot. It sucks. Either way, I look forward to it.
Well, my car in North Carolina is not doing too bad. It's literally sitting in a garage right now, under a cover on jack stands. So
That makes it sound even sadder. Now it's like a barn find.
yeah, it kind of is. It sucks.
Dude, if the world, if Corona manages to end us right now, then like when the apocalypse happens, somebody's gonna find your car in like 10, 15 years and then be like, and be like, oh fuck yes.
That's true. I mean,
You
that
are
could
the
happen.
barn find apocalypse car.
Yep, this is very true. I am the barn find apocalypse. Like that will be in my TV show, or the TV show called A Walking Not Dead. It'd just be called The Walking Not Feeling Too Good.
The walking illest.
The Walking Ill.
The illest walking.
The Walking Vids. So yeah, I hope it doesn't come to that because that'd be fucking horrible.
Oh yeah, it wouldn't be fun. Dude, I've still genuinely thought about like if the apocalypse did happen, I'd be really bummed because in theory I can't take either of my cars with me because I'd need to take the van to take Gabs with me. So it'd be that sad moment where just going, it's gonna be someone else's war rig now.
Yeah.
I think that would be the saddest part for me about surviving an apocalypse. It's just like anytime you go to like loot or raid somewhere, you're just like, man, look at all this fucking story. Like, what was this guy? Maybe his name was Steve? Look at this guy. He was into golf.
Anyway, we should probably talk about cars or some shit like that, right?
Yeah,
Not the
instead of
apocalypse.
the apocalypse.
Yeah.
If anything, we should just call this one the apocalypse.
If you-
Boom, I'm calling
yeah,
it now.
done.
This episode's
Call it.
the apocalypse.
Listen here, Jack.
Boom, I got it in there. So that way I don't forget. Alright, so anywho, so we're going to kick things off with a vehicle that would be both awesome and horrible for the apocalypse. And that is the new, recently revealed GMC Hummer electric pickup, which was officially revealed a couple of days ago. For you guys, it'll be way further in the future, but a couple of days ago for us. And so far, it's everything that we thought it was going to be, which... but it's got a lot of really neat kind of trick features. So, like, some of the big highlights for it are that makes, like, 1,100 foot-pounds of torque. It makes 1,150,000. But yeah, no, it's but yeah, it makes like 1,100 foot-pound. You know what? I should actually look at the specs so that way somebody doesn't go, "You're wrong. You're so incompetent." Not that anybody listens and would ever go out of their way to tell us that. Oh wow, this article is useless. This article literally says just more than 1,000 horsepower. Thanks, article. So, I mean, my answer's not 100% wrong based upon that. It is over 1,000 horse or 1,000. Sorry, it's 1,000 horsepower. I don't know what the torque is, but either way, the idea is that they went for the big numbers so they could show up the Cybertruck, which doesn't even exist yet, but because of the absolute, like, just massive spec dong that Tesla has with the Cybertruck, everyone else feels like they need to pull out an even bigger dong to continue to stay relevant, when in reality all they need to do is make a vehicle, because the Cybertruck doesn't exist yet. I know the prototype does, but it doesn't exist yet, guys. It's gonna be a while. Model 3 owners just got their cars that they pre-ordered 3 years ago now, so yeah. I'm sorry. I had to lay that into you guys gently for those of you guys who are big, because that being said, you're looking at Cyberpunk, Cyber this, Cyber that, Cyberpunk 2020, yeah. Anyway, but as a Cybertruck fan number one, I love the styling because, as everybody in our group knows, I am like an absolute slut for like bonkers designs. Like as soon as something is ugly and weird and unique, I'm just like. I think it was. Oh man, I haven't seen that Scooby-Doo meme, the one where it's like everyone's like freaked out, and then Fred's like, "That's my fetish." I haven't seen that meme in forever. I guess it's probably old at this point. It's as old as me. I'm an old man. Thinking about old memes. But yeah, so
Gotta love them old memes.
there's a lot of stuff that we've known about. Like, it has 4-wheel steering, so it can do the cool off-road / Halo Warthog thing where the front wheels go this way and the rear wheels go this way, so it can turn sharper. And likewise, they also enabled crab walking, so you can turn both wheels off to the side and then go at an angle. I love how they tried to market that as a useful feature when in reality I cannot think of a single time when I would end up using that. Like, maybe to like pull off a really awkward parallel park, but nobody's gonna use that off road. No one's gonna.
It's like that. It's like that convertible roof thing they did with the GMC Envoy.
Convertible roof on the GMC Envoy. I don't even know what you're talking
Remember that?
about.
That was like mid 2000s.
Convertible.
They're like, it's like a sports stadium.
What the heck?
Do you not remember that?
No, dude, I never saw
I guess you weren't into
this.
cars at that time.
When was this? Like, when, this was... I'm trying to find a date for it. Yeah, no, that was long before I was into cars. I've never seen one of these in real life.
Yeah, this is like 2000, I guess 5. I guess when they made it.
2004.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that is completely news to me. Wow, that's actually kind of cool. I mean, call me a weirdo.
I probably saw it used once.
Yeah, it's like that extra odd amount of practicality that's not that practical.
Like, I mean, this is in the 2000s where the fucking SUV was Jesus, you know what I mean? Like, God, what a horrible... I'm just looking at photos, too. What a horrible fucking car. Why would you buy that thing?
Because of
That looks so
the
awful.
one trick.
Oh,
it has
God.
the one cool trick, and that's why someone would buy it, because they're like, oh, that's so cool.
I'm just glad they made LSs. That's all. Jesus. Anyway.
But this thing... Oh, wow, my article just crashed. Thanks, Motor Trend. Oh, no, it's just dead. The article's dead now. All right, next article.
Cool. Well, next topic.
Yeah, no, all right, but in reality, though, it's 1,000 horsepower, some stupid amount of foot-pounds of torque. It will come with tow packages, meaning that it'll be an absolute beast for towing stuff. It'll actually, one of the options is actually Super Cruise. So, and GM does have a patent in the works for Super Cruise with a trailer. So it is very likely that this will probably be one of the first vehicles that we see with Super Cruise, that's trailer enabled. It's got a big old light bar thing on the front that spells out Hummer. The main headlights, when you plug it in to charge it, become little loading bars for the charging, which I think is adorable. Like, and it's animated too. Like, it goes like bing, bing. So it's super cute. It's got a split tailgate thing that turns into a step. So that's been in the Silverado and the GMC Sierra, right? Sierra's the 1500 base truck.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. The GMC Sierra. It has these like faux beadlock wheels. They haven't said if those beadlocks are real or not, but that's like an optional wheel that they have. It's got a removable roof, so you can take off all the roof panels so you can feel like a Jeep. It's got all sorts of off-road camera. Like, one of my kind of like things that's like both hype but also I feel like is gonna get expensive real quick is that they literally have cameras that are under the truck. Like, I don't just mean that they're in front and facing down. They are physically underneath the truck. So one, anytime you drive over a mud puddle, you're gonna instantly make that camera useless. But two, it does make it cool though because you can see exactly what you're rolling over. So when you're going through the Walmart parking lot, slurping down your Big Mac, and you run over a small child, you can verify if it is in fact a small child and whether or not you need to crab walk off of him or drive straight.
Okay.
But it also has cool like off-road page, like a lot of this is stuff that off-roading vehicles have had forever, but it's got this cool like 3D rendering of your pitch and roll so you can see how much of an incline you're on. It's got a lot of physical controls. The entire interior is like rubberized and ruggedized just like a Jeep, so like the idea is that if you make a mess, it's fairly easy to clean up. It's not quite as raw as the Wrangler, so like there's definitely some stuff I wouldn't want to get mud all over. But that being said, it's got that, and I think one of the coolest party pieces though is that with the air shocks that it has, it can lift itself 6 inches for off-roading.
Hell yeah.
Which,
yeah, you lift that 6 inches.
Dude,
boy.
It's like, I mean, let's face it. Ladies, we all know how much more 6 inches more is. That being said, though, it's like, that's actually really stupidly impressive. Like, when you watch this thing in the video where it shows it going up, it's like enough that you're like, holy, this thing just got taller. Like, in a lot of cars, they'll go like up a few inches or down a few inches, like especially like the Land Rover Disco, or not the it's not the Disco, it's Land Rover, is it the Disco? Is the Disco the new one that everyone was complaining about because it went to unibody?
I think so.
I apologize, guys. I'm still. Oh no, it's not the Disco. It's the Defender. There we go. Yeah, the Land Rover Defender does it, but again, it's just like with this vehicle, it's a huge amount of ground clear. And plus, this thing is flat bottomed because it's skateboard based. They actually have these cool. They're not like portal axles. It's the actual axle shafts themselves are telescopic. So like that's how much additional travel it gets, as the axle has to physically stretch out. Well, not stretch out because it's not stretchy, it's metal, but it actually slides out, which for those of you guys who aren't super mechanically inclined, you'll be like, oh, that sounds like it's fragile. No, I mean, if you look at any CV joints are already basically like a spherical-ish shape with a bunch of balls in it, and then the joint goes in there, and that joint actually pops out of the knuckle. Like, they're not, in a lot of cars, they're not actually fixed in there, so it's literally just like an advancement of that, but it's in the shaft and a bunch of other stuff. It's not more fragile. It doesn't have to be at all, especially when it's engineered correctly. So all in all, this is it's a really cool like modern off-roader thing. Now, and then they didn't do away. Well, so one of the cool like selling points of the original Hummer was it had those 4 lifting points on it that were originally the like points where you would drop it from a helicopter or lift it from a helicopter. So they kind of kept up with that spirit, and that it's got these 4 D-rings on each corner of the car, which is kind of cute. But overall, like, what do you think about it, Hunter? I actually kind of dig it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just don't. Yeah.
Would it make you feel any better if you found out that in the first year you can only buy a first edition, and the first edition costs $112,000? Would that make you feel better?
Why am I gonna spend 6 figures on a truck?
Because it's a super truck. It has a 0 to 60 of 3
That's like
seconds.
400 million Canadian.
Oh, by the way, I didn't mention that it has a 0 to 60 in its like launch mode, which they call, hold on, I can't remember what they, it's their launch control is called watts to freedom. It's literally what it's called, watts to freedom. Or,
okay, well, some of these prices are not so bad. So
yeah,
like,
no, if you
79,000.
Yeah, if you do not get a to the tits loaded one, it gets really reasonable.
I still don't see the point.
Oh, by the way, so the 3 electric motors generate 1,100 foot-pounds of torque. Called it! Boom. Fact check me. My facts are stout. I am the credible Hulk right here today, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my god, dude, this thing has 305 70R17 tires. Like, these are, it comes from the factory with 35-inch tires. For those of you guys who do off-roading, the inches makes a lot more sense than aspect ratio with blah, blah, blah. But it can fit 37-inch. Like, it can account for 37-inch tires. And plus, since everything's all digital, like, I'm sure that literally you can just take it to your nearest dealership, and then they'll just go, bleep, there you go, you got the 37-inch tire tune. You're good. And, since it's got gobs of torque at all times. No, that was one thing I was really...
Hold on. How does that go again?
You just go, deep. There you go.
Wait,
you got.
Wait, hold on. Wait, what? No, wait. Can I get that one more time? I couldn't
Oh, yeah,
understand.
yeah. They just bring it to the dealership, and then they go, beep. There you go. You
Oh,
got
okay, okay,
37-inch
cool,
tire
cool,
tune.
cool, cool.
But yeah, oh. But overall, it's just absolutely just so silly. It's so silly. But again, like, the base models, which will have less power and less everything, will be like 70 grand. So for those of you guys who are already buying luxury trucks, this could be feasible for you.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for the normal ones to come out.
Still don't get the point.
I get the point. I mean, I would buy
I
one
think
if I had
everybody should
infinite
just
money.
drive.
Crown Victorias.
No, I think everybody should have Ilios.
Oh, dude, everybody should have Elios.
Yep.
Dude, everybody. Let's see. All right, let's do it. Let's do a weekly check. You know what? I am a big
Dude, you
fan of
need to do a
making this.
decade. Is that a decade? What? How do you say decadely? Decade?
It's
Annual, biennial,
it's decentennial. If you
decent.
do you mean
Thank you.
yeah, do you mean every 10 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, decentennial, I believe.
Thank you.
Let me make sure I'm
Decade.
not crazy
What a
though. Don't.
fucking retard I am. Jesus Christ, I'm retarded.
Yep, decentennial. Boom, I got it. Quote me on that.
Yeah, so decentennial check of when the Ilio will come out. What are we looking like right now?
Well, right now, the website is still up, so they have enough money to pay their hosting fees. Or
Well,
they
that's
could have
good.
bought a 5-year plan 5 years ago, and it's going to expire at the end of this year. Who knows? Let's see. All right, let me see if they got any news updates for us. Media news. All right, news. Last news update was October 10th, 2016. Correct, I believe. Yeah, because the rest of these go back in time. Yep, that's 2015. Let's see. Let's do some press releases. There was a press release on September 27th, 2018.
Cool. So that's not happening. So let's
For
move
any of
right
you
along.
guys who are listening to this in the far future, this is the year 2020, by the way.
In the year 3000, the Elio was released. I call it.
I'm so sad. Honestly, if somebody buys Elio and makes it happen, I'm almost gonna have to buy one just out of respect and just out of remembrance of a younger, more optimistic me who really believed that I would be driving this cool 3-wheeled car someday. So yeah, anyway, speaking of 3-wheeled cars, this isn't one of them. McLaren, they have, because of, due to the nature of how patents work, you have to patent stuff, and you have to show them what you're patenting. So we got a first glimpse at the new McLaren, which will be, it's the codename P16, which they're calling it an Acura NSX fighter. I don't know why they're calling it an NSX fighter, because it's a McLaren. I mean, yeah, but the regular baby McLarens are already in that price range and are subjectively better cars. Like, every reviewer is like, it's a better sports car than the NSX, yada yada yada. But anywho, the main reason why they're saying that is that McLaren is going to, at least in their baby lineup and a few other random cars, they are going to officially switch to a twin turbo V6 that is a plug-in hybrid. And according to some of the information and stuff that they've been gathering, like, it's going to have 19 whole miles of range, all electric range.
Wow.
It's amazing, isn't it? It's absolutely
That's a lot,
incredible.
dude. That could get me to work. I think
that would get me to work. It would get me to work.
Yeah.
So, for when I don't want to make a big old fracas. Now, that being said, knowing, we don't know a lot of, obviously we don't know horsepower details and a bunch of other stuff, but there's a strong chance that if you're in all-electric mode, it's like a 200 horsepower car. I think that's going to be the peak there. So, that being said, it's a very casual, drive in full EV mode.
Yeah, but that's literally every performance car.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's a good point. Except for the Ferrari that goes front-wheel drive when it's all electric.
True.
But yeah, so anywho, it'll be interesting to see when it comes out. Some big hallmarks is it's got flying buttresses. Now, don't let your erection get too tall. It's not the same kind of. It's not. We're not talking Ford GT flying buttresses. This is like if the Ford GT is like a.
It's like quarter
like,
scale.
Yeah, it's quarter scale. If the Ford GT's buttresses were like a booty, like pow, these flying buttresses would be a booty, like ah. But I do like the new headlight design, though, because the new headlights are kind of way more like the McLaren logo, which is kind of an interesting little thing. But one thing I will say that's kind of funky is I'm kind of a little bummed that the design hasn't changed a ton, because this one, contrary to what people are going to say, you know, going into it and long after it, this car is actually a new chassis designed from the ground up. It's not, you know, everything is based off of what you did before because you're improving on it. But it's not like they just, like, improved the old chassis. It is a new chassis. But it still looks startlingly like the last generation cars, which, like, you know, honestly, you can call me an idiot for this, but I was always kind of under the impression that the 720S and the Senna were the indication of where their design language was going for future cars. But then they released the 675 LT, and then that was the old face version of the, you know, the cars beneath it. And then this one honestly doesn't look like a huge change from the last one. So it seems like maybe they're just aiming for their fastest cars to have the weird alien face, or maybe they'll do something else. But this one is not a far cry from what previous McLarens looked like in the slightest.
No.
I will say though that the front vent stuff is really like you can see how, like, especially in the diagram, you can see how there's so many, like, channeled vents in different places for different spots. Like, it's actually really kind of neat to look at. And it borderline looks kind of Tesla-y from the front because of how little front grille there is.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think it's going to be... let's see. Looks like a cool car.
I will say, though, as somebody...
I don't know. It's the... Yeah.
I will say, though, as somebody who's never been anti-V6, I really hope that they manage to make it sound good, because I've finally gotten to hear what the V6 Raptors sound like in person on a regular basis now, and not gonna lie, there's like 2 exhausts that make it sound good. Everything else, including stock, sounds like a dying animal. And same thing with a lot of V6s. Like, the VQ is actually kind of growly. I like the VQs, and you know, the 370Z, 350Z, GTR, blah 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 blah. But there's a lot of V6s out there that are honestly kind of sad, and I'm hoping that these aren't.
Most of them are.
Dude, if you heard a straight pipe Grand Caravan, have you heard the Pentastar V6 straight piped? That is actually pretty gnarly.
I'll take your word for it.
Hey, we will look it up after this, and I will show you what I'm talking about. But that being said, we will go ahead and stop talking about the McLaren potential sadness and move on to actually it's the opposite of sadness. You want to talk about this one? This one's pretty neat. It's very neat. It's cool. Let's go, Fasty.
Yeah, it's the SSC Tarantula. No, I'm sorry. I don't mean to do you like that. That's cool. It's the SSC Tuatara.
I thought it was Tuatara. Tuatara?
Tuatara?
Tuatara? Tuatara?
Tuatara? Tauntaun? SSC Tauntaun.
Hold on, I actually...
Oh, it's a lizard.
Yeah, it is. It's a lizard that is from New Zealand. Oh my god! This is the cutest picture of a lizard ever! Did you find the one where he's like, me?
Yeah, he's like looking up and going, man. Yeah.
Me.
Fuck you, man.
That is precious.
It literally means spikes on back, but that's what it says in the wiki. It says, I don't know. Anyway, whatever. So fuck it. Moving right along. Yeah. So the Tuatara.
I feel really bad that, like, I've watched so much coverage about this, and yet I still can't, like, make the name stick. Like, I've even watched, like, YouTube videos where people have had to say it, And for some reason, the pronunciation still hasn't stuck to me.
Anyway, that thing's fast as fuck, and it does 316 miles an hour. So, goddamn, I cannot imagine driving 316 miles an hour.
Well, and actually, on
That's
that's the average
100
thing. It hit
and
310 going one way and 331 going
oh
the
yeah,
other way.
that's right. That's right. You're right. Thank you. That's right. It did hit 331.
All right, by the way, guys, brace yourself. Google is going to pronounce this for me.
Tuatara.
It is Tuatara. Thank you, Google.
Toot toot. Toot toot. The SSC toot toot. Anyway. Yeah, no, I can't, fuck. Okay, so the fastest I've ever driven or been in a car, I think was like 150. Yeah, I want to say 150. And I can't imagine somebody driving another 180 miles an hour faster than that. Like 330 miles an hour. No, it wouldn't be 180, excuse me. I'm sorry, I'm dumb.
It's okay. Math is hard.
181. Sorry. Yeah, no, I was right. Okay.
I didn't do the math. I just took your word for it on all accounts, both when you thought you were wrong and when you thought you were right.
See, that's why I failed in math, because I was never confident in my answers.
Yeah,
anyway,
dude, you gotta have Trump levels of confidence with your math.
Wrong.
I've done the best math.
I've done the best math.
People have said you're so good at math. You're so good. Dude, this thing is just like, I'm just looking at the engine bay shots because it's got this is just so bizarre. Like the suspension setup is super weird on it because this is no joke. This is Le Mans car stuff right here.
Yeah.
Like that, the suspension it's got
faster. Oh yeah, well.
I mean suspension design wise, like the push rod setup, and the fact that it has a single shock for acting as a sway bar, so that because when you have these single, and I mean I may even be missing. I would be surprised if it's just one shock for both. I highly doubt that that's the way it's set up. I'm almost certain this shock is the sway bar, and the way that these are set up is they're valved so that as you get more downforce on the car and as you go faster, the sway bar stiffens and changes its profile. And again, this is like legit race car shit. Just looking at this car, like, and that's the thing that they say. Yep, there we go. There's two shocks off to the side. Again, here for you guys, I will show you the picture that I'm looking at right now. But you can see the two shocks on either side that are connected to rocker arms that then connect to other things. But this thing is just properly engineered. And then this is one part where they kind of got me going kind of like, okay, boomer, where he's like, I can't remember the full quote, but he's like, this car is, it's meant to do tracks. It's meant to be track focused and also daily drivable. Nobody's done that. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Do you mean every supercar? Because every supercar is supposed to be a race car for the okay. But there are a lot of cool things. Like, if you don't mind me going on a quick technical rant here, there's some things I noticed right off the bat that blew my fucking mind.
Yeah.
So, the Tuatara is it's a twin charged I think it's either twin supercharged or twin turbocharged. I'm sorry, Tuatara, I'm messing up all your specs already. Let's talk about this from an engineering standpoint. I don't know, Jack. But no, but genuinely you can see how there is some straight up like extreme drag racing bullshit going on in here. Because if you look at the engine, basically the way this is set up, and literally Cletus McFarlane is how I got exposed to this from the drag racing world. But basically those two V's that looks like one big intake, it is the intake, but the intake is mounted to massive water to air intercoolers right on top of it. And that's how it cools the air going into the intake, through everything that's going on. And it's just insane for me to see not just one of because that's the thing is a lot of V8s have like one of like the crazy drag builds that make like 1,000+ horsepower have one of those plopped in the middle of an LS motor, and it does all that. This has got two of those giant intakes, and And then, like I said, you can see all the water piping is like super pretty. The water piping is run in a really nice way. You can see just so many different things going on in just that little engine bay spot, and it's a proper little engineering piece. It really is. Massive shout out to them for engineering a car that's honestly just stupidly badass.
Yeah, props. It is pretty insane what they've done.
Oh my god, it's got the velocity stacks and stuff too when you scroll through. God, I love these engine pictures. There was a picture, somebody posted a picture on somewhere of like the full engine, and I need to go and look at that engine porn because I'm a big fan of crazy engines like this, like just a giant fan.
Yeah.
So anywho, massive shout out to them for setting the record. Because the other thing too is a lot of people are, at least a lot of people are like, whoa, it's only an official record of 316 miles or 315 miles per hour. The Bugatti Chiron did. Well, that actually wasn't third-party verified technically, and was only in one direction. They didn't do the return trip, if I recall. And the other thing too is that, what was it? Oh, and then also the fact that this one technically did 30 miles an hour faster than that. It's just that they only got, they only got 315 because of the way that it averages out. Which I still hate I still hate that system. It seems kind of unfair. Like, I totally get it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like you can lose so much from that. But at the same time, the other thing too is it's like you basically only want to do 2 shots. Because you don't want to press your luck. Most of the tires that are designed for this, it's like you only want to do that once, or you only want to do that 2 or 3 times, because otherwise you're going to blow up the tires, and you just exponentially increase your chances of something going wrong. But still, it would have been nice if they could have gotten that actual 330.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So anyhow, next thing. So this one, I decided to loop it in because it's similar in the world of things going fast, and also because we were running out of things to talk about originally that were really, really cool, and also because I suck at putting things in any sort of logical order. There is an S2000, which I was unable to find if this is actually like officially a fastest half-mile time / speed. But this S2000, which there'll be links to the articles on our website and everything if you want to look into it further. But this S2000 using the F22C. Now that being said, it's actually the stock block and the stock crank, which is like that's one thing that a lot of people like continually forget. Like pretty much anybody who I had this whole discussion. I don't remember who I was talking to about it, but like the F20. For people who are technical and like engines and stuff, they'll love, a lot of the people like that love the F20 because it's the highest output naturally aspirated 4-cylinder ever put into a production car. It's got a lot of cool things going for it. But the other thing is that like in the performance world, a lot of guys start to kind of shit on it. And in reality, most of the reasons to shit on it are because you're broke. Like that sounds like a total snobby rich boy thing to say. Like, oh, you only hate it because you're poor. That being said, as somebody who is a huge F20 fanboy, I will say I do 100% agree. If you want to play around with getting absolute power out of a motor, you're gonna blow up a motor. No matter what, whenever you are trying to get the most out of it, you're gonna blow it up. If you blow up if you blow up an F20. You're looking at, obviously any price exists if you're lucky, but on average, you're looking at $4,000 for an OK motor, like, 100,000 miles plus. You're looking at like then you're looking at like 6 to 8K for a low mileage, super nice motor. And so that being said, when you compare it to the K motor, which has a lower bottom floor, but has infinite mods to get up to the sky, if you blow up your K, then it's $1,000 to go yoink one out of another, and even less to go yoink one out of a junkyard. So, yes, in terms of chasing power, the K motor is way safer. And but if you are going down known good routes, or just flat out if you just know what you're doing or you have money. Unfortunately, that's the other alternative. The F20C is just as capable as the K motors to make just stupid power, and there's so like, and that's the other thing too. On a K motor, you're not making 600 to 800 horsepower on the factory crank. Well, maybe you are. I don't know. I feel like some people might, but I don't know how well that holds up.
Yeah.
But this is the stock crank, stock block S2000 that managed to do 200. It really bugs me. The whole video, they don't talk about any of the actual figures. They're just like, he's chasing 200, and he hit 198 miles per hour in the half mile, which is still insane. Like, it's insane to think about an S2000 going that fast in a straight line, because they're sketchy little cars. Like, it would be terrifying to do 200 miles per hour. It's terrifying to do 140 something that it's rated for from the factory, which I've still never done. I've done 127. That is my claim to fame right now in the S2000. When it makes big power, I'll go faster. And I will say, now that it's got the suspension's been completely redone and all the loosey-goosiness is gone, it is a way more tightly wound car. It is not sketchy at all at high speeds anymore. But still, it's short wheelbase, bunch of other stuff. So massive shout out to that guy. Kind of another little tidbit for me to be like, yeah, I'm going to keep on trying to make power with F20s. And the other thing too is that, like I said, if you get lucky, I've now gotten 2 different F20 motors for literally $1,000 combined. I got one motor that had a warped cylinder head and a warped block, but brand new internals, which is what rebuilt my motors. Technically I have 3, but one of them is now a pile of useless parts. And then I have one with a bad rod bearing that I just picked up for $250. So again, that is not normal. This is me getting stupid lucky. I also got a transmission for $100. Apparently second gear is notchy, but it's a good backup transmission if I blow something up at a time attack event. And then, likewise, it's a good chance for me to tear them down and learn how they go apart and go back together without risking anything. So, anyway, I've gotten really lucky with random drivetrain parts. But now we'll move on to another thing, because now we're actually getting closer to our time, so we can just bang through the rest of these. You want to talk about this next one?
Yeah, it's the Mustang Mach 1's order books are open, and it's cheaper than the GT3. But it shares a lot of parts
50.
with the GT3.
50.
Wait, what?
You're saying GT3, and I was adding the 50.
50. Thank you. I'm retarded.
No. We just wanted to finish each other's
paragraphs.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. Alrighty, cool. I really don't understand this car. I mean, I like Mustangs. I'm not saying I don't understand the Mustang. I like the Mustang a lot. I think it's a great car. I think it gets a bad rap, but except for which transmission that blows up in these real easy? It's all the manuals, right?
It's all the manuals, yeah.
Yeah, that's scary. Anyway, yeah. So it's from like 2014 to like this year, right? Like, there's a whole big fucking deal about this. Like, Ford's under a class action lawsuit.
Yep. It's a big old dealio.
Well, good thing I'm not buying a Mustang anytime soon. So, yeah. So they're making the Mach 1, and it's a fast Mustang.
Yeah, for all intents and purposes, from what I've read, it's kind of a weird love child between the Performance Pack 2 and the GT350.
Yep.
So, that being said, like, you can still get all the... did they say that they're axing the... Let's see. No, okay, yeah. So, basically, if you get a regular Mustang, you can go all the way up to Performance Pack 2. I don't know if Performance Pack 3 is still around. That was one thing that this article didn't make clear, so I'll have to go looking around myself. But basically, once you've done Mustang GT Performance Pack 2, at that point you should start looking at the new, Mach 1. Which honestly I still like. I like the idea of this being kind of the more low-key track monster-y kind of thing, but I definitely do like, that's the worst thing about them axing the 350 in lieu of this, is that like the 350 it's an in-between between this and the 500. Like, this, because this only makes the bullet horsepower, and I'm pretty sure, what did What did the GT350 make? Let's see.
Not 350 horsepower, right?
Let's see. Mustang GT 350 horsepower. Look at me. I'm a car guy. I'm looking up power figures. 526.
Nice.
So yeah, and then plus the flat. God, that's the one thing I'm gonna really miss is how the Mach 1 is just the bullet motor, versus the 350 had that flat plane crank, which was just sex. Like that sound is gonna be missed.
Yeah, that was cool.
It's why I would still probably personally just buy a used GT350 because there's 8 million of them that belong to Grandpa who put the regular one had a flat plank too, right?
No, I'm pretty sure it's just the R.
Was it just the R? Huh.
Pretty sure.
All right. Well, then color me correct. Well, then yeah, boom. Not a ton lost, but that doesn't make sense. Why the regular?
I'm wrong, and then somebody listen to this and it's like, what a fucking idiot.
Let's see. Hold on. Let's see. GT350 flat plane. In-depth look at the Shelby Mustang 350's 5.2 liter V8. Yeah, no. The GT350 and the 350R have the same motor. It's just the R is the stripped out one with all the carbon fiber and shit.
That's right. Oh, okay, yeah, you're right. That was wrong.
But yeah, so anyway, it sounds like it really does sound a lot better than the regular Coyote. So I'm gonna miss it, but rest in peace, little buddy. We still have this thing, which this thing's still cool, and it's way more track prepped. So if you actually do a lot of track days, which most of you guys are gonna lie to yourself and say that you do/will, and then you're gonna drive it on the highway all the time. Haha, gatekeeping now. But in reality, definitely if you feel like you're gonna be doing a lot of tracking stuff, the Mach 1 is your pick now. And then if you can't afford that, then you go down a little bit to Performance Pack, but it's honestly really not that big of a jump. No, it can be. Yeah, because if you do a base GT is like 32,000 or something like that, and then to put the Performance Pack on there is like another $5 or $6 grand for like Performance Pack 2. So it is still cheaper than this.
Yep.
But the Mach 1 is cool and has the 2 little not fog lights because they've been replaced with holes. Dude, how quickly do you think there's gonna be conversion kits to make those halos? I think that there's probably
super fast.
I think there's already halos for it.
Yeah,
I almost guarantee you it's already there. So
yeah, I'm sure.
Which would be cool. I mean, especially like it almost becomes kind of like a Challenger Hellcat headlight in that, like, you know, you've got this little light ring that's really just a hole where air goes through.
Yep.
Oh, wow, my camera just literally decided to completely defocus. There we go. I got it to refocus. Boom. I just had to flail around like a weirdo. All right, now I'm going to lean forward very carefully, and it's going to stay-ish. Yeah, there you go. All right. But yeah, so anyway, that was just kind of a neat little thing when that we now know where the pricing is, and it's not crazy, stupid expensive. Now you now know what is crazy, stupid expensive. Travis Pastrana's new Gymkhana build, which, all right, let me see if I can find, did I delete the pictures? I better not have deleted those pictures. I did not. All right, so, I'm trying to think of the best way to show this to you, Hunter. I'm gonna, let's see, do I want to share screen? You know what? I'm trying to think. God, you know, all right, I'm gonna send it to you in Facebook. So just because I don't want to mess up the recording, but this car is now liveried up and it actually has like all of its looks and everything. And no shit, that is he jumped a fucking river with it.
I'm looking. Sorry, I'm in the wrong. There we go. Wow, that's
And for those of you guys who are watching on YouTube, once again, bippity boo.
Where is he at? London?
I don't know where this is at. Like, all I know, it blew up my Facebook feed. Like, there's like tons of videos and pictures from people who are all watching, like, from the sidelines. But basically, the scene is it jumps over this, like, that's one of those crazy, what are they called? The really, really fast speedboat things. But it's not a hydrofoil, or maybe it is.
No, I know what you're talking
about. Yeah, it's a crazy fast speed. Like, that's one of those almost $1 million speedboat things. And they jumped this absolutely bespoke monster. Oh, for those of you guys who are watching on YouTube, I realize you haven't seen any of the details. Man, I used to have all these pictures of it, and I just deleted all of them, so I apologize. I'll bring that up. Let me see if I can find those pictures for you guys. But in the meantime, I will continue to ramble about this car. So, some people have been kind of salty about this. I don't really care because it's cool. Basically, nothing about the only thing about that Subaru is that it's a boxer based motor. This whole thing is an amazing display of what happens when you let Vermont Sports Car build a car that is completely unlimited. And so, because normally the cars, they have restrictions on aero, they have restrictions on power, they have restrictions on just about everything under the sun. And I'm going to start showing you these pictures now. This is what it looks like done up with the livery. And then for you, Boo, I'm going to go ahead and paste those in there. Shaboom. There's the sexy pictures of the livery. So this thing is 100%, it's a carbon fiber tube chassis. So it's a tube chassis car with carbon fiber panels all over the place. Everything's bespoke. The body's bespoke. The power plant's bespoke. The suspension's bespoke. Obviously, the aero is bespoke. So unfortunately, you're not going to be able to buy one of these in a dealership near you anytime soon. Also, I love to point out the fact that the headlights look really stupid because they're two-dimensional. So since they're two-dimensional, it looks like it's cross-eyed. Or not cross, it looks like it's wall-eyed, like both eyes are pointing in different directions. But this thing is just, again, it's a rallycross car that has absolutely no limitations put onto it. And there's, been tons of videos from, like, Hoonigan showing him, like, hooning it around. And, this car is going to be in the next Gymkhana, and it jumps a frickin' river. I am hyper pumped. Like, honestly, the Gymkhana stuff is just, it makes my fucking day, man. I love watching that stuff. Yeah. It is cool, and it's even cooler when you know the stories behind it. Like, speaking as someone who used to be a Ken Block hater, watch the Gymkhana files on Amazon Prime. This is not a plug for Amazon Prime. It's just the only place you can watch it. I'm sorry. It might be somewhere else now, maybe, but that's where I watched it. And you get to learn a little bit about their process and everything that goes through this, and it's incredible what these guys do. So, bink, massive shout out to them. Now, this next one, this is important to both you and I. This is very, very important to you and I. Do you want to bring it up, or do you want me to bring it up?
Yeah, Need for Speed Hot Pursuit's coming back.
Yeah. Now, that being said, it is not a new game. That was one thing I was a little down to find out. But it is a remastering of the Hot Pursuit game that came out for Xbox 360 in 2010, back when I was in high school. Jesus, it's forever ago. Maybe not for those of you guys who are older than me, but it's forever ago for me. Hunter, is that forever ago to you? 2010? Feels like so long ago.
No. No, yeah, they were. 2011 to, like, 2018 or... Took forever. Oh, fuck. That was such bad music. I don't know why they woke up like that. You know what song was great? This one.
Oh, dude, that's
what happens when your friend, like, you don't have real friends, and they don't tell you, hey man, this kind of sucks.
Oh, dude, I still vivid, like, I have a Platinum Hits copy of Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2 for the original Xbox, because that game was, like, it's crazy how Hot Pursuit 2 is the one that everyone remembers. Like, there was a 1 and there was a 3, but 2 is the one where everybody's like, yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
But the new Hot Pursuit is hilariously fun. They did make the driving mechanics way more centered around drifting, because drifting is cool, and drifting was cool at the time when it came out. So, like, literally the fastest way to get around the mountain passes is to drift. So, it's fun in that respect. I can't wait to try it with a steering wheel, because it is on PC. Like, the remastered will be coming out on PC. So I look forward to trying it out with a wheel setup, because I was like, I got to the point where I could do a perfect race. No body contact, no nothing with a controller. I'm going to undo all that with a steering wheel because you have to drift, and I suck at drifting on a sim because drifting on a sim is hard because you don't have no feel. Sad.
It just depends what you're using.
But yeah, so anywho, that was an exciting thing to come back. Do you want to talk about another GT thing?
Yeah. Speaking of the authorities, they cut apart a GT. Wow, that sucks, but I mean, I understand why, because you can't put these cars on the street as a test bed. But a Shelby GT 500 test wheel got cut open for a training exercise by the Dearborn Fire Department. So, yeah.
It's one of those things that just like it really does hurt to look at, like, because you just see like this was a perfect brand new GT 350 GT 500.
But you can't put that thing on the road. It's a test car.
Yeah, it's a test car. Like legally, it's VIN-less. There's like a lot of different things about it that it is just not. It like they're liable for so many things if this car ever ended up on the road, even if like they put it in a warehouse and then it got stolen and then somebody sold it somewhere else and yada yada. Like basically the only way to guarantee their legal safety is to completely destroy these.
Yeah, it would have gotten crushed anyway.
Yeah, so it instead just got the roof chopped off and got torn apart and had all sorts of other things done to it. So, rest in peace GT 500. But, at the end of the day, at least it's not one of... I forget how many GT 500s they're making, but this is not one of them. It technically is car number 0, along with every other test mule.
It's a test mule, so it doesn't count. It sucks, but,
It's just very disturbing. Like, I think that's the biggest thing, is just disturbing to look at, because it doesn't feel right. Now, that being said, somebody in a GT 500 is going to need to have this done in real life. Guaranteed, so...
Guaranteed, because people can't drive and they think they can, and now all cars come with like 9,000 horsepower. 90% of the owners can't handle that.
You know what the worst thing is just that so many people, like, and I'm even victim to this without being on the extreme side of things. Like, when a car is just good, it hides so many bad habits or lack of skill. Like, you feel like a fucking rock star when you drive a car that does so many things for you on your behalf. Like, hell, my S2K is set up great for track stuff, and now that the rear tires are gone, it's shown me how shitty my throttle control was, because, like, literally in autocross now, like, I can't keep the rear end planted the way I drive. Like, in theory, if you drive a car smoothly, then, like, you'll notice, like, you'll lose a little grip, but the car will still be in control. You just step out. I'm talking, like... Once the tires were done, I was freaking almost spinning out, go inside, not on track in autocross. On track, I keep it pretty kosher. But yeah, so anyway, long story short is like, it's forced me to get better, but like, in my example, when my car has fresh tires on it, you can drive it like an absolute goober, and it has so much grip compared to the power that it makes that it doesn't care. And that's like, these cars, they've got so many different things that just make them permanently fast that it's like, and that's the other thing too, is it honestly, half the time it makes me feel bad because I'm out there, I'm beating on my car and I'm like 2 or 3 seconds slower than the GT 350 that's out there. And I have to remind myself about the fact that it's like, okay, skill and knowledge only get you so far. There's also the whole entire extra $40,000 worth of modern technology and horsepower that will do things. So it's like, these people are like, oh, I ran a super fast lap around the track, but then if you gave the same car to somebody with actual skill, that person would still be like 6 seconds faster. So, yeah, that's the danger with a lot of these cars. And we went on a whole sub-rant based upon the fact that somebody's going to crash their GT 500 because they think they're a badass, and it's just an automatic, so it must be easy to drive.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's people, it's like I said, people just don't understand some things that the cars do, and it's kind of scary. But anyway.
Speaking of scary, no, this isn't really scary, but
no, Red it is Bull, scary because this just.
Well, I guess it is scary for 2021, especially
because Honda's pulling the plug on Formula One.
Yeah, Honda is stepping out, which sucks for Red Bull because they just broke up with Renault like literally in 2018. I believe.
Mercedes is going to give them a motor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mercedes
Mercedes.
isn't gonna give their sexy tech away.
That's one.
Ferrari's motor sucks.
Yeah, Ferrari just sucks, and then you have Renault, and Renault and
Renault's
Red Bull hate each other. So
they're just like,
yeah,
get out of here, you goddamn Frenchie, and they're like, ha ha, I'll slap you with my frog legs. Ha ha. But yeah, but no, so right now they are considering taking over the Honda development stuff for this current motor. And then they've got to figure out whether or not it's feasible for them. But it's like that's always the funny thing is it's just like with Red Bull, it's like it could go either way. It all depends on what they think is important because it's not like they don't have money. But at the same time, because actually does your engine R&D count into your budget for the year?
Oh, fuck. I think if you supply customers, it doesn't count. Like they don't count it. You know what I mean? But I think for individually,
that's what I'm wondering. Yeah, because that could seriously fuck them because their budget is based around, or their at least was because was the budget cap for this season or next season? It's for next season, right?
Yeah, I think they're doing that next season.
Yeah, but for next year, so it's like they're okay for like this year, but it's like, and that's where the whole costing was coming in. Is it's like if they use the same motor, then it's technically the motor that they bought from Honda. So they could run this motor. They can and likely will run this Honda motor for next season. But then after that, then they potentially and if we're wrong, feel free to correct us because I haven't looked up into all the little rules and stuff on this. Unfortunately, should have, didn't. But it definitely sucks for Red Bull because was Red Bull the only one running a Honda motor?
No, AlphaTauri, which is basically Red Bull Junior.
Red Bull is the only one running Honda motors.
Yeah.
So that is just that it actually does really kind of suck for them. But that being said, if they decide to pull through the fires and flames of this and actually build their own motor, like that's just that'll be bonkers because Red Bull, so by the way, fun plug, sometime in the next couple of months, we've been promising we're gonna do this since March and we still haven't done one. But sometime in the next couple of months, we are going to do our first podcast special, and it is going to actually be covering Red Bull racing. And for this, it is turned into the biggest. Now, it's not a rabbit hole; it's like a rabbit civilization of rabbit holes that I have gone down, and I'm only halfway done with my research on it. But we are going to do, and it's probably going to be a multi-part series where we talk about the Red Bull racing team and how they got to where they are, talk about a little bit of the history of Red Bull themselves and how they market stuff, and basically it's just a summary of all of that stuff. So I'm bringing that up because obviously I'm talking about it now, but this would be just another insane peg in the Plunko board that is the Red Bull story. I don't know why I said it's Pachinko? Plinko? Plinko, yeah, Plinko board. Not Planko board or whatever I said. But yeah, because if they start building their own engines, it's like, holy shit, there's an energy drink manufacturer that makes Formula 1 engines. Like, what the fuck? Now, that being said, obviously they are buying a lot of so they're buying into, but I mean, they bought the F1 team too. The F1 team used to be the Jaguar F team, and before that, it was something with an S. God, see, I'm acting like I was just working on the article, and I've already forgotten the name of the team that it used to be. But that team got bought out by Ford.
Stewart.
We say Stewart. Thank you. Yeah, so used to be Stewart, and then it was Jaguar, and then it was Red Bull. But it's just such a freaking cool story, and I honestly, and that being said, I've only looked into one F1 team, which is the Red Bull F1 team, and I'm hype. I have a strong guarantee if I started looking into the other ones, I'd end up being on an even playing field again because F1 is just a crazy sport with so much it's like Game of Thrones in how their stories go. People change sides constantly, go to different companies. Different companies splorped drivers and technology into other companies through different random ways. And going back to Red Bull, and like I said, I'm not sure if and I will literally even say this word for word in the articles I'm doing and other stuff. But I can't say if other companies have done this, but just looking into Red Bull and AlphaTauri, they also have the Red Bull Junior Driver program. Like Red Bull has a full they're fucking what was they is it Churchill? Was not Churchill. Was Churchill the no. Who was the guy who owned every means of production back in, like the industrial age, where he owned he owned the mines, he owned the trains, he owned the rail lines, he owned the factory. Rockefeller, right? Is it Rockefeller?
Yeah, you're right.
Formula One is like Rockefellering the Formula One circuit in that like they're sponsoring drivers at the baby levels, like your F4 level racing and some of the splintered series around that. They're sponsoring people as low as that, fostering them through the program until they make it to Formula 2. Then they're from Formula 2, they're then feeding them, and then but then it's not just like their driver. There are tons of drivers in other groups, which I'm not gonna go into details on it deeper. We'll do that in the actual time, but like. Red Bull single-handedly has created like a quarter of the F1 drivers that are on the field today. Like they're the reason why those drivers made it up through the ranks, and that is just insane to me that that's one of the things that they do, and it's just crazy. So speaking of crazy, the Pagani Huayra R is potentially, this is all rumors, and I heard a guy who knows a guy said a guy that it potentially might be getting a naturally aspirated V12 with a red line over 9,500 RPM that makes like 900 horsepower. Like that's Formula One shit.
Yeah.
Literally borderline Formula One shit. Actually, no, it's Formula One shit.
It pretty much is.
Especially because actually I think back when Formula One was V12s, I'm pretty sure they revved high, but that was pre-teens revving. Like, because they're a big V12, like they were small V12s, but in terms compared to like the modern V6s, it's a big motor by comparison. So I think those didn't even rev into the teens. But correct me if I'm wrong on that, because I could be horribly wrong. I'm new to F1.
The V12s, I think just for around 10,000 RPM, 10 or 12,000, I think.
Yeah, so this is literally an F1 engine.
Yeah, more or less for the street.
Which I think that's technically what the Valkyrie is. No, not the Valkyrie. The Valkyrie is supposed to be.
Yeah.
So, we'll see. I look forward to seeing what the future has to hold for all of this. But in the meantime, we're all gonna finally put this to bed. Managed to still make this an hour and a half podcast, even though there wasn't a ton of stuff in it. So that being said, as always, shoot me an email at juan@thecolumnshifters.com. Today's keyword is going to be, what do we want to make it be? What do we want to make it be, Hunter?
Douchebag.
Douchebag. All right, shoot me an email that just says douchebag. Gift card, $20. Is it 20? Yeah, $20 to your favorite eating establishment.
$20,000.
No, just 20, just 20. If you want, you can add 1,000 cents. 1,000. Don't add 1,000 cents to it. Add 1,000 zeros to the cents place. But there's a decimal there. If you're in Europe, that decimal is not a placeholder. For Europeans, it's a comma. For Americans, it's a dot.
24 billion.
Anywho, we're gonna let you guys go. Huge thank you as always to listening to all of our ramblings and rabblings and all the other stuff. I don't have fancy stats yet because we don't have enough to get fancy stats. But if any of you guys are regular listeners now, because now all of our episodes actually have downloads and some of our episodes have multiple downloads, then we love you guys. Take advantage of the food thing. Shoot me an email. Do it right now. Just do it. It takes like 2 seconds. No, it doesn't take 2 seconds. Probably takes like, say 36 seconds to send me the word douchebag at juan@thecolumnshifters.com. So, anywho, Like, subscribe, all the other stuff, whatever. We're not important enough for that yet. So for now, we're doing it for fun. And we're doing it for you guys, the true fans. Let us know if you're a true fan. Get your food thing. Email me. Douchebag. Bye.
Bye, douchebag.